Okay, we are live.
We are
Episode
live.
30.
Episode 30. And today we're talking
Theory
about...
of Friends.
I thought we were talking about hands. We're talking about friends?
Friends. Yeah.
Gotta fucking... Okay, let's scratch all the notes I took about hands.
Hands?
Glad we prepared. Well, if you spoke English a little more clearly, son, maybe I could understand you. Friends, yeah. Let's talk about those things.
Yeah.
Go.
By the way, this is our last episode in Thailand.
Last
Finally.
episode.
Yeah. Today is Saturday, 11th. Tomorrow we're headed to Phuket for my fight, which takes place on Monday next day, and Tuesday we come back here in Anna, and that's it. The next day on Wednesday we are flying to Bangkok, and from Bangkok to home.
Yeah. It's crazy that we've already arrived to the end of this destination.
Mm-hmm.
It went by so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, we got here basically March 2nd or 1st, around there sometime, and now it's the middle to the end of June.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience, and while we didn't make any Thai friends, did we? Other than the gym
so,
coaches?
Yeah, the coaches, and that's it.
Wait, come on. What about Cocoa House?
Cocoa House, yes. They make us feel at home, right?
Yeah.
Very good. The Cocoa House is, well, that's not the name of the restaurant, but it's right next to, or just part of it. This restaurant is next to the Cocoa House, which is a lodging facility. And they're really good to us. And their specialty, is it specialty?
Mm-hmm.
Special, I'm sorry, yeah. Their specials daily are amazing, right?
Phenomenal.
So we go there, I mean, we just walking distance, we walk there after getting stoned.
True.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, they're so kind, you know.
Very
so,
kind.
yeah.
I mean, it's also nice because every time we go by, you know, they wave, we wave.
Mm-hmm.
We see the same faces, same familiar
Yeah.
people. So, yeah, there's some friendship, maybe not as deep of as a friendship as obviously like you and I have. But this is the cool thing about friends is that you can have so many different shades of gray across the spectrum of friendships. I mean, there's a vast array of varying relationships, but they all fall under the umbrella of friendship.
Yeah.
I think there's some danger in not having enough definitions of the type of friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason we don't have any words to describe those relationships is because they're just too nuanced to describe effectively. But I think we've all had our fair share of great friends, bad friends, you know, friends that we would say are closer to acquaintances, but we know them or we're more friendly with them. So we'd say, oh, yeah, I'm friends with them. But for you personally, what do you think it is to be in a friendship?
Rephrase that question, please.
What constitutes a friendship or relationship? Well, you would say that's my friend.
Depends on the, you know, the type of friendship that you have. Like you just said, you know, there are many types of friendship. Realistically, maybe it's not intentional, but that's just a fact, right? Because you have number of friends, and some of them you call them your best friends, some of them you call them just friends, you know, some of them you just say, oh, I just know that guy, you know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we don't really be strict about what friendship is, but we sort of have that spectrum of friendship, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, when you know, when I'm asked a question like that, to me that refers to only friends, like friends, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, we actually briefly talked about this the other day, that why friendships, the good friendship, real friendship, is different from like romantic relationship in a way that friendship can last for a long time in comparison to romantic relationship on average, obviously, right? I mean, I know a lot of people who can date someone like for 10 years, something like that.
Very
right?
impressive.
Yeah, a track record of long-term relationships only. But on average, it is true that friendships last longer. And I think one of the reasons is that between friends, you don't really have expectations. At least in a good friendship, right?
Yeah.
Like we're friends. I don't do things for you because I expect something in return, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of times in romantic relationship, is the nature, unfortunately, could be, I'm not saying it is always, it could be very transactional, you know?
Yeah.
I do this, therefore I expect you to do this as well, you know? But in friendship, yeah, sometimes there are things like that, but it's more of, you know, non-important things, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
They're not what constitute the
yes,
majority of that
yes.
relationship.
It's just like a small element that could be there, but it's not the major part of the friendship, you know?
Mhm.
But in romantic relationship, I think a lot of times that the nature is transactional, you know?
Mm.
Hey, I don't go out, you know, party at a club on a Saturday night, whatever. I don't want you to do it either, you know? Like things
Yeah.
like that, right? I don't, I mean, let's not just go further than that, but things like that. I mean, it's transactional, you know?
Yeah. So you'd say one of the biggest differences between a romantic relationship and a platonic friendship would essentially be the expectation and kind of projecting our values on somebody else. I think typically in friendships, you're more understanding. You kind of give this person
Yeah.
more flexibility to be who they are. You're like, okay, they have their own set of values. Doesn't really affect mine too much.
Yeah.
And you're able to live in that middle ground there. Whereas for whatever reason, it seems like more oftentimes than not, romantic relationships, you're trying to be closer to the ideal relationship in your head, you know, closer to in line with your thoughts and your ideas. And it is almost this kind of transactional thing. I treat you with love. You treat me back with love.
Yeah.
You know, I respect you. And of course, that word resembles so many different circumstances.
Yeah.
Because for one person, you know, treating somebody with love could be, oh, hey, I thought of you, so I bought this at the store. And I saw it and I thought of you. Whereas for somebody else, that may not be an act of love. That might be representative of something else entirely.
Yeah.
So I do think initially going into the relationships, they're set up very differently. And almost to fail or succeed, I feel like there's a way more pressure on a romantic relationship than a friendship, which is why they oftentimes fail. That, and I think the criteria for your romantic relationship is usually, I don't know if I'd say for people it's more strict on average,
Yeah.
but I think they have the illusion of keeping a tighter knit.
Yeah, of course. I think so. I think on average that is very true. You know, like when you pick a person to become your boyfriend or girlfriend, you know, like you look at a lot of things, you know, appearance, behavior, you know, things like that.
Well, I'm glad you started with the most important one there, appearance, because if not,
Well, I personally do not care about it.
I don't care if you're attractive. I just care if I'm attracted to you. You know?
Yeah. So, like, there are this, you know, things that you look at, right, when you pick a girlfriend or boyfriend. But between friends, when you make a friend, like, you don't really think about it.
No.
I don't care how you look, you know. I don't care how much you make. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Would you say almost that a friendship is built upon not it's not dependent upon a preconceived notion, which is why you develop a friendship.
Right.
You come in with no expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
And you happen to be friends. You're like, oh shit, we get along.
Right.
Whereas I feel like a lot of people, when they're looking for a romantic partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, whatever you want to call it, oftentimes they're entering these interactions with people and trying to size them up to say, well, this person fit in the box that I want to be for a romantic partner. And for whatever reason, friends, you just don't have that kind of expectation. You're just like, friends are the people you meet along the way and you happen to get along. Whereas people think romantic partners are people I choose and select and they fit in my box and that's why we get along together. Yeah. Which, like I said before, I think that sets us up for disaster. I think friendships, in my personal experience, have been the hands down most valuable thing I've had. for sure. I think friends make life
Yeah.
worth living, and without them, I don't think I'd want to live. Not to say that I couldn't, but I don't think there would be as much joy.
Right.
Friendship just adds such a neat, deeper layer and complexity to reality. For me personally, I find a lot of joy in that. I think it's hard because I know a lot of people that don't have these friendships.
Yeah.
Or they've never had really good friends, so they kind of don't understand necessarily what they're missing out on. I don't like to say that people are missing out on things, but what a unique thing you can have when you have a deep relationship with somebody. You know?
Yeah.
It can become something else entirely.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually, funny enough, I went to the other day, so we stopped, to get the edibles and things like that, or I did when you were training.
Yeah.
She was like, "Where's your friend, your brother? Your brother,
Mm-hmm.
brother or friend?" We don't look like we're related.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool because they see us all the time. Like, "Oh, your brother."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's cool."
I mean, we've actually lied about it, remember?
Yeah. Come on, Jamal. Totally believable.
Yeah. It's just fun. Jamel.
Where would you say has been the most difficult place for you to make friendships? Because I think there's a lot of people, I don't know if they're listening to this right now, but a lot of people have issues making good friendships and relationships. So I don't know, maybe to somebody out there listening, is there any advice you would give, or maybe some information as to?
I think it's just it would be very general advice that I give to people. Just like making a friend or a romantic partner. I think the very first step that is most important is to be genuine. And another thing, going back to what we were talking about earlier, don't make the relationship transactional. Well, I mean, I said earlier that friendships are different in that, but I also know that there are some people who have we know exactly what we're talking about. There are some people who make friends that are transactional, just purely based on transactional need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're my friend just because I need something from you,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, those kind of friends could be beneficial to you, but to me, that's like a waste of time, because I don't want to interact with anybody who, with whom I know for sure that I can be genuine,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can make friends in any way you want, but I think without being genuine, I think it's hard to make a good friend.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think this kind of runs back into what we talked about in the last episode. Ideology is that if you build a house with the wrong foundation,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't come in genuine. You come in giving the person what they want to hear. Eventually you're going to build this house tall enough and you realize, it's leaning over, it's going to fall over. This wasn't a good thing. And there's going to be damage just because you didn't show up and arrive as a genuine person.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to be genuine initially, right? It's something you learn.
Yeah.
It's a skill set you develop where you can realize,
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm genuine, I'm being ingenuine. And it's totally fine to take time to navigate those emotions, especially when you're developing friendships, because it is a lot of trial and error. You don't really know necessarily how you're going to feel about bending your identity or who you think you are, or who you say you are, a little bit until you do it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you go too far one way and you've got to bring it back a little bit so that person can actually see you and know you, and they have to do the same thing. I think that's what makes a friendship so beautiful, is that we understand that about each other. Like you kind of give each other room to grow and then come back and be like, we're still cool. Like even if you're different, I'm slightly different, like our relationship's good.
Yeah.
And that to me is like an extremely beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because again, there's so many of these relationships that we have in our lives, whether they're, your employer, or maybe your employee, maybe they're your wife, your spouse, your partner, coworker. We have all these relationships with human beings, and so few of them would work out if we were genuinely authentic.
Yeah.
Because then we'd have to kind of set an expectation of ourselves and of others.
Mm-hmm.
Or you'd have to bend a little bit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's something you just have to do in order to meet other people. So I think friendship is one of the few things in your life that can really offer you an avenue of huge personal growth, development,
True.
and let you understand without that kind of exchange of, I do something for you, you do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
You can understand there's still something to be gained out of a friendship, even without that transactional nature at the start. There's something much deeper.
Yeah.
The gift of friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, how long have we been friends now? 2-3 weeks?
Not so long. I mean, I not that long. I think, right?
2014?
Yeah, 2014.
8 years? About 8 years.
I have a headache right now for some reason.
Oh, man. You got a headache. You got to take medicine. Wait, you already took the medicine, didn't you?
Yeah, like 2 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago. Tylenol.
Maybe it's time for a round 2.
Maybe, but
we're almost getting done with the short version here. We only got a few more minutes to go.
Yeah. I guess we can talk about our friendship from the beginning in the non-free version.
If you want to know about our deep friendship.
Yeah. But I was going to say that before we, get into our friendship, I was going to say that, friendship can be a very valuable thing in your life. I mean, that's the next good friends, right? I'm talking about good friends. That's the closest thing to your family, or even better sometimes, like the reason family is so great is that, you feel home. You feel like you're home, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. You feel comfortable. You can be yourself. They can touch your heart. You can talk about your, hardships. You can talk about things that are, that you don't want to reveal to other people. Like they know who you are, and therefore you feel very comfortable,
Yeah.
In front of them, you can fully be yourself.
Yeah.
You
You can be expressive, I think, without the fear of retaliation about, maybe there's a misstep in my expression, but you're not going to punish me for it. Whereas some of the other areas, if you step out of line, fucking get right back in line. They'll make sure you know.
Yeah. And then, like, good friends, another thing is that friends can be judgmental about your behavior, your decisions, ideas, whatever. But really good friends, the good thing is that you don't care. You don't feel bad. You don't feel offended when your friend judges you on something. You don't feel offended if you really treat them like as a good friend, like a real friend.
Yeah.
Right. And then you sometimes welcome it. You feel appreciative that your friend can see the flaws or things that you're not aware, that they can point out that, hey, I think this is not something you should pursue, or this is something that you should fix, whatever. Like a genuine advice.
Like, you say it all the time, that proverb that a monk can't shave his own head. I think there's a ton of truth to that. And that's also the beautiful thing about friendship, because you come as who you are, and that other person in a true friendship, they come as who they are, that you feel like, okay, this person knows me, they see it. So I can actually take their advice. Like, their advice is valuable because they know you.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not stupid. They're actually saying things that very well could add benefit to your life. Or at the very least challenge the way you're currently tackling your life. And like you just said, where else can you get that in life without
Mhm.
having to pay for it?
Yeah.
And then if you're paying for it, it becomes transactional.
Exactly.
And it might be something different. They might be
Mhm.
telling you what you want to hear because you're paying for it.
Mhm.
You know, there's no benefit for me personally to
Mhm.
come to my friend and say, hey, I see these areas,
Yeah.
and then risk the relationship unless I genuinely care about the
Mhm.
person more than I care about even the friendship.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
even
like,
if you even if you don't agree with your friend's judgment, you can at least genuinely talk about, discuss it.
Yeah.
That's the greatest part, without getting offended, without getting heated. Like, that's different. But anyway, we are into 20 minutes in.
We're 20 minutes in. That means get out of here, you freeloaders. It's time for our Patreon members. All 2 of you.
Yeah.
3 of you. 4 of you. However many of you there are.
Yeah, but thanks for tuning in for this week. We'll see you next week.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, we're back.
Back to the paid members.
Mm-hmm.
Our best members. Our most vital members. It's because of you. We can afford the plane ticket to leave Thailand.
That's not true.
And that's true friendship.
Yeah, it doesn't even come close.
To depicting the reality.
To cover our spending here.
We have made
We've spent a lot of money. We, right?
Yeah,
we
I'd say
have.
so. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done everything we've wanted whenever
Because-
we want it.
All the spendings that we did, right? We thought, well, this is cheap, whatever, and it adds up. I mean,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That's what friends are for. We encourage one another to waste money,
Yeah.
throw it down the drain. Sometimes you'll pull out money out of your wallet, and I'll say,
Yeah.
hey, man, I got the lighter. Sometimes I pull money out of my
Mhm.
wallet, and you say, hey, I got the lighter.
Yeah.
And we just burn it. We just
Yeah.
burn it.
By the way, we bought bikes, right?
We did, yeah.
Some of you may know. We decided to give them away to our friends in Thailand. They're Muay Thai coaches at the gym that I go. They're so happy. I was really happy to see that, the smile on their face.
Dude, I bet, man.
Yeah, very happy. Gave me a really genuine hug. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I felt I feel great about it. That, yeah, I mean, 35,000 baht, whatever. It's not a small amount of money, but I see that this could be a lot bigger to them than 35,000 baht to me.
Yeah.
So I feel really great about it.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the other
Mhm.
thing we're talking about, though? Like,
Mhm.
with friendship, developed friendship with these people and
Mhm.
a relationship, you can give something. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be transactional.
Exactly.
That's-
Right. That's what we're talking about. Like, we're not doing this because we're something in return
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah. And what a, I mean, I hate saying the word blessing, but really, what a gift
Yeah.
it is to be able to give a gift without the expectation of
Mhm.
being able to repay it. You know what I mean? I feel like we've really not even come close to touching all the facets of what a good friendship can offer.
Mhm.
But even in this situation, say it's somebody who's not even you're super tight with,
Yeah.
you can kind of build that bond by doing something like that and say, hey, man, I think you're valuable regardless of your situation, position in life. I just want to give you something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a great way to start a friendship. And sometimes the only thing you can give somebody is, maybe encouragement. Like, hey, you see somebody,
Mm-hmm.
hey, dude, you're killing it. I see you here every day.
Yeah.
If you're at the gym or something like that, or you're at work and you see somebody busting their ass,
Mhm.
you can see that like genuine authenticity and that interpretation of them. And that could be a great start to a great friendship
Mm-hmm.
if you're willing to engage and open up and come at these people. But if you're always coming into these interactions with people, no matter
Yeah.
where you are, with the expectation of this kind of capitalistic transactional thing,
Mhm.
not even necessarily capitalism, but this transactional mentality, you might never even be able to arrive at friendship because
Yeah.
it's always an exchange. Like,
Mhm.
well, what can they teach me? What can I get from them?
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but if you're only looking for that, you're missing your friend entirely.
Yeah.
You're trying to make them only operate from a specific point of view where they can give you something, where you can take something from them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not saying that these relationships are necessarily a bad thing inherently. I would say that they are further removed from the truth of friendship,
Mm-hmm.
which is way better than this transactional,
Yeah.
negotiation
Yeah.
type transactional relationship. And it's hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people to make friends. Not for lack of wanting, but I do think there's a lot of lack of trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you don't have the social skills developed as how to engage with people. Maybe you're not naturally empathetic. Maybe you have to develop that more.
Yeah.
But the only way to get these skill sets and see what you're lacking is to go talk to people, right? How else will you know what you don't have? Because also what you don't have may not come into any type of impact in a relationship you're developing. Maybe they don't need the thing you lack. You know?
Yeah.
There's all these other aspects of building friendships that we just don't take the time to
Mm-hmm.
be, maybe for lack of a better term, appreciative of.
Yeah.
At least that's the sensations I ran into with it. And it can be hard. There's also going to be people you meet that you just don't like. You just
Yeah.
don't get along with. You know, you don't see the eye. You don't
Yeah.
vibe. For whatever reason, they rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
It could be the wrong day, be the wrong situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to take note of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, you always give people second chances, you know?
Yeah, always. Maybe not always 100%, but that is my mindset at least. You know, I give them a second chance. Anybody in any situation, you know, because we all know that one behavior or one set of words from you do not really necessarily represent you, you
Mhm.
know? And then whatever that thing could be circumstantial. So I usually give them a second chance, you know. There's a fly on your face. See, this is what friends do to each other. I tell
you're
you
really my friend.
that
You
there
would
is a
kill that fly.
by slapping you so hard.
Lean in real quick.
This
Wow,
fly
you
has
feel
been bothering me. That's the same fly actually, but yeah, I hate flies.
I'm gonna burn this place.
So
down.
I what was I gonna say? I
You were gonna
forgot.
tell
I'm
us.
really hungry, dude. I'm really hungry right now.
Well, that's because you've been training nonstop.
Yeah, I mean today I went to, I went to the gym. It was more of a rehearsal and discuss tactics and things like that. So like I didn't really train, so I don't really need foods at this moment, but I feel very, very hungry for some reason. Yeah,
I mean, we didn't have.
we
you
ate a
didn't
lot
eat,
yesterday.
You didn't eat that much last night, though. I mean,
We did, dude. That breaded huge fish,
yeah, that was
I
it,
mean,
though,
that-
right? Nothing else when we came
rice, and no, 2 cookies. 2
back.
cookies.
That's right. I forgot about the cookies.
And then nuts. Cashews. I love nuts.
what a great friendship.
That's why. But I mean, I ate a lot. I thought I ate a lot. If there was just regular fish, then yeah, I don't think that was a lot. But
I mean, the fish serving size was definitely. I mean, it was a whole.
and the
slice of
sauce,
fish.
dude. That sauce is like close to sweet and sour.
Yeah,
so sugary a little bit.
a little sugary. It was almost
Yeah.
like a salsa, though. So I think
Yeah, that was good though. I mean, I
it
liked
was
it.
very good.
Mhm.
It was very good. I'm very excited for tonight's dish.
I mean, to my taste, I just don't like breaded fish, man. I don't like fried fish. I just like grilled fish.
It's
regular
definitely
fish.
preferred. Definitely preferred.
I mean, I like Asian style grilled fish, which is salted fish, which is kind of strange to, I guess, Westerners or.
You think so? Or
Yeah, you just
yeah.
add salts when you cook it, right? That's how you do it,
Yeah.
like in the Western dish. But Asian, like Japanese too, like is the fish. Not all fish foods are like that, but they're salted
Mhm.
fish, so you don't
Yeah.
really have to season it as you cook it.
Yeah,
but I like that better.
I guess you're right. You don't see it very often, right? How many people actually serve full fish? Because that's what you're talking about, right? Like a legit
Yeah.
full fish.
Yeah.
You just pick it away the bones. Yeah, I guess it isn't a very American thing, right? You don't find it very often.
I don't know why. I just don't know why. Because European foods too, like there are some, fish dishes that are that serve entire fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole fish. But I think American dish really doesn't have that kind of.
It's probably because we don't have. I mean, typically most of the restaurants serving fish flash frozen or something, right? So you don't have like fresh fish. When you have it fresh from the market, it's easy, I think, to just go throw it on the grill and do that, and it retains its.
I don't fucking know why, because. I mean, you go through the same process anyway. You catch fish, and then skin it, I guess, and then just fillet, pack them. But why? To me, I like the skin.
Skin's got some.
I don't know why they fucking get rid of that shit.
It tastes good too. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's one of the best parts, especially if they cook it right.
Yeah, and then it's healthy oil in it. I just don't know why they get rid of everything. It's fucking just trash.
That's an excellent question. I couldn't answer you. Maybe they just skin it and then sell the skin for. That's probably what it is, man. The skin's probably sold separately as something else.
Maybe, yeah.
More money. Cut that fish up, baby.
Yeah, I remember one time. This is not entirely irrelevant, I guess, because I made a friend. He was at the time working for Terra, this little company, and he likes fishing. And one time he came back. He went down to Galveston, or right before Galveston, and then he caught a fish, and he put it in a how do you call it, like a ice container, and then brought it back to me as a gift. It was big fish, like this big.
Wow.
And
did he cut it, or is it the whole fish?
The whole fish.
Wow.
Whole fish, yeah. Dead.
Remember what it looked like? Was it a rainbow trout?
Or he did it off
Galveston be the coast, so.
I think it was like a black something.
Okay.
I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it was big fish. I wanted to sashimi it because that's how I like it. And because that was my first time actually sashimi a fish. And then I just destroyed it. And then at the end, what I'm left with was like 10% of the fish.
Oh, wow.
So I basically just trashed it because I couldn't really sashimi it properly.
Why? So because the knife or the technique, or a bit of both? Probably mainly the knife, right?
Bit of both. I just didn't. I didn't know what I was doing. I saw a video, but it's really hard actually.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. It's fucking muscle you're cutting through.
Yeah,
it's a technique to it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, tell me more about this friendship. Why have I never heard of him? What's his name?
You know him, the old guy. Older guy. Yeah.
The guy that's always touching me. I'm familiar with him. He's a nice guy.
Holy shit! Let's talk about that because this is really relevant. Now you say that it's very different in Korea and I should say just East Asia at least. And then every time I talk about Asia, you guys have noticed that I specifically talk about East Asia with a lot more confidence because East Asia is very similar, in that China, Japan, Korea, they have very similar culture because of that language. I mean, we use Chinese letters, both of them, Japan and Korea, and then the heavy influence of Confucianism, right? Confucius values still in Japan and Korea. So we share a lot of values. That's why when I speak about certain cultural elements about Korea or Japan and China, I can speak about it with more confidence. Like Thailand, there are a lot of similarities because unlike other countries in this area, Also, there are a lot of Chinese descendants, so I
Mm.
think that's why. But still very different from East Asia, right?
Mhm.
So I understand some of the cultural elements here, but not like entirely as I do of China and Japan.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway,
sure.
the point is, in Korea and East Asia, maybe this one I shouldn't speak about China and Japan because I'm not 100% sure. But in Korea, at least, it's okay for friends, like male friends I'm talking about. It's okay for them to hold hands sometimes, you know, like when you're drunk, you know, like
Yeah.
having a good time, you hold hands or you hug each other, you know, like that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're gay.
Yeah.
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 But in America, if you do that,
Usually, right? The common, I'd say the majority would find that like,
oh yeah,
close to
majority of them.
homosexuality,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I totally don't agree with at all, but that is the precedence for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, don't get me wrong, when I say this, you shouldn't really misunderstand this as like we're very touching. We're not touchy at all.
Yeah.
Korean guys are the same as just American guys. We're not touchy at all. But when we're drunk, we're more touchy.
Yeah.
Like, I love you, man.
More friendly.
Man, like hold hands, things like that. It's very normal. You're not gay. Nobody sees you as gay, But in America, a little bit different.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I just wanted to point that out.
It's funny because it depends on like your friendship with somebody. I think. I mean, I've leaned up like against my, my friends, like couch super close, like fucking fall asleep on them, or I've had friends fall asleep on me, or kiss a friend on the cheek or something. Like it's just like
exactly.
I don't think anything strange of it,
Yeah.
and it's actually kind of nice in the U.S. because there is that kind of expectation about what the friendship looks like. So when you do push those boundaries with people, like especially guys, like good guy friends, I think don't get that affection enough unless they have a girlfriend. That it really does feel like warm and heartfelt. Like when a guy like loves you and like, hey man, I love you, hugs you, you're like, it's so different than when a woman does it. You're like, oh shit, this dude really loves me. And it's a nice feeling. Yeah. And it is kind of sad that, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's homophobia or all this other stuff. It's fucking crazy that, you can't touch your friend. Right. You know what I mean? Like, even something as simple as like, so grab them, shake them a little bit.
Because
like,
we are inherently that kind of animal. We feel comfortable. We get comfort from touching, by touching others, touching, not just everybody, but people who are close to you, right? You remember that experiment that I told you about a long time ago? I saw this experiment. This was done like 20 years ago, something like that. In the experiment, what happens is that there's a baby monkey in two different settings, and there's an element of threats, usually like clown-looking doll or something like that frighten this baby monkey. And two different situations. In one setting, there's a furry doll. In the other, same doll but not furry at all. Like it's made of metal or something like that. So as soon as that threat is introduced, this monkey, in the setting of the furry animal, the monkey grabs him, like hugs him right away. Oh. But in the metal doll, it's the same doll, but it's not furry. Monkey doesn't hug that a doll at all. Wow. Because the fur, makes it, I guess, it makes the monkey a little more, gives him comfort. Yeah. Wow. So we prefer that as an animal.
It's interesting you say that because, when I'm hearing you say that, I think of, you can do that emotionally, right? You can be the kind of person where, you're somebody people can talk to, people can rely on, lay into. Like there's comfort and trust, so they can actually be that way with you. You can have a relationship like that with somebody. But if you're the metal guy, you know what I mean? If you're the Tin Man, yes, you don't show emotion. Exactly. You're always stoic. You're like a hard ass. Very black and white, rigid views. Hey man, people aren't gonna want to hug you, even in situations where. Yeah, they might have gotten something from it because you're not the type of person setting yourself up to be that person. You know, and it's weird because I don't know why, but we've called that strength in the U.S. You know, this unfilling, unmoving, unwavering person. Like, that's not even a human being. That's not a human being. Let's be real here. You might as well just be the fucking bastard, bro. You're not unchanging. Who cares? But we've praised that. We've given a lot of high value to it. And I think a lot of men, I mean, I adopted to it. I know you have too. Like the stoic kind of tendencies that ultimately served me well in some areas, but have hurt me grievously in others. You know, just fucking push it away. Like, bad things happen, it's pain, whatever. Disregard it. It's been one of the most damaging mindsets I've ever had because I applied it to everything.
Yeah, for sure. I think we grew up with that wrong values about man, you know, what makes man. And like Confucius value too, like they tell you not to show emotion, not to cry, you know, man don't cry and things like that. In a way, I don't want to use the word toxic, but it really, you know, it can really mislead people, you know, in a wrong way. So I think that's something that we should, you know, reevaluate and then, you know, get rid of eventually.
I'm just saying, if you can the problem I think with the ideology is that it serves to maintain a physical state, like your physical life. Yeah. Very effective to maintain a physical life, but kills you emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. Like it totally disregards, arguably, some of the most important things that actually constitute living. Yeah. Personal relationships, like empathy, all these other things you have to totally kill and disregard in order to just survive in this physical world. And yeah, man, I mean, this is the downside of living in a culture and a society that puts a heavy value on empirical data. Yeah. You know, unverifiable, like repeatable, you know, the math and sciences. They have their function. They've helped us and served us amazingly. But they can't solve every problem in the human dilemma. Yeah. You know, the things we face every day. So you have to be inclusive of some of these other things that maybe kind of butt heads with the sciences, you know? Maybe you've got to have a better relationship with your idea and these concepts like spirituality, things we can't explain with math and science. You know, if you're immediately dismissive and want to be hand-waving and not even look at them or not even consider them as possibilities, you're potentially robbing yourself of a lot. Yeah. You know, like, it's kind of hard to see. I feel like we talk about, I keep saying like, we've discussed a lot in the last few months, but I feel entirely different today than I did a year ago. And that's all because of the ideologies I was holding. Yeah. You know, it's weird to see this reality being reconstructed in a way how I want to construct it and also give way to the way it just seems to be. Yeah. You know, and be able to accept things. And I think accepting that being that tin man in that example is it's not being a man. That's being an ideal that actually doesn't have a very high value. Yeah.
I mean, it's, essentially that's not the true representation of yourself, right?
Yeah. So, and you wouldn't want it to be, right? Yeah. I mean, now once you find out the other parts of you, you're like, fuck, I don't want to only represent that small sliver of me.
Yeah, I mean, eventually in life, without considering friendships or any other relationships, you know, eventually your goal, one of the goals of your life is to, you know, fully manifest yourself, you know? And then what friendship can do for that is that, you know, we're eventually social animals, right? I mean, of course you could live alone. You know, I'm not saying that's impossible. But the way for us to evaluate and judge our values and our ideas and thoughts is to, you know, act with someone else on them, you know? Yeah. You just can't... If you live alone, for example, like I'm just exaggerating the situation, living alone while you're obtaining a lot of knowledge and wisdom those are meaningless because, in a way, because you're not interacting with anybody.
Yeah.
Like, in essence, all those things are equivalent to non-existent, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're not really putting that out to someone who can give comment on it, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's what friends can do. Like,
Yeah.
you're interacting with your friends in a way that you are, you know, showing your values, you know, genuinely, and then that person, that your friend, can interact with your values.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on between friends,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I think one of the coolest things too is like, as a friend, when you're showing somebody those things, you're basically letting them try on maintaining that value. What would it look like to be a hardworking person? You know, if it's somebody like us, they have a friend, because we're hardworking in the physical routine, things like that. They can put on, oh shit, you know, maybe I like that. Maybe I'll adapt that. I mean, me personally, I've adapted so many things from my friends because I'm like, yo, I fucking love the way he represents that. You know, I want to be more like that.
Yeah.
And like picked up things from them.
Yeah, of course.
That, you know, in my opinion, I've tried to pick up the best things, best values my friends have, and adopt them to myself. And it's made me such a more well-rounded person, and I think a better person, because fucking frankly, life is too complex to just use the tools you were given at birth.
Yeah.
You have to learn, and learning from friends is, to me, the most enjoyable way to learn.
Yeah,
the coolest, because you're like, fuck, I get it, and I get to see it represented in front of me. Like, it's so attractive to have a friend that has a quality that you want or that you're working on.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, wow, okay, yeah, this is great, this is worthy. And you pull out things of each other, I think. You know, like, how many times have we had to exercise where if we're together, like, we'd be like, hey, fucking try harder, I'll go. You know, you pull that out of each other. And you do that more than just the physical realm. We do that more than when we're working out. Yeah. We challenge each other conceptually, right? Challenge each other with like just our day-to-day living. And that's, yeah, if you live alone completely, like no friends, no social circle, then you're potentially robbing yourself of a much better reality. Yeah. Or you're potentially just letting your ego grow to think you're always right.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
scary.
that's the only thing that can grow out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're alone. Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying.
I mean, it can be done in a healthy way. I'm sure it can be done. But again, like, you wouldn't have any other way to really judge your values, you know? It's all self. It's all self, you know? You're not... That's a sad life. Yeah. You know? I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I think most people, you know, we're kind of speaking of what we would say in this situation, I think would be characterized as delusion, right? It's easy to become delusional. Unfortunately, most people are, I think, delusional in regards to self-worth. They think so little of themselves and see so little of their value. And just being around the right people, like, that's something you have to tackle on your own entirely, for sure, to eventually believe it. But when you get around other people and you see, like, oh, people like me, like, I've got things that other people enjoy, you know, it kind of at least gives you a moment to appreciate, oh shit, maybe I am worth more than I thought. You know, it at least raises the question, like, why would they value me if I don't value me? And then from there, you can deal with that and, you know, grow. And of course, it's this fluctuation thing. For some people, it's a one single off circumstance. For other people, it's a lifetime of going back and forth, like, oh, am I that? Till eventually you wake up. But then you just have a different set of problems. Right. You know, you're always going to have problems your entire life. But I think you stop viewing them as problems and start viewing them as challenges, you know, areas of growth, areas of opportunity. At least that's how I view it, you know. Fucking my back up a few days ago. Okay, well, how can I grow from this? You know? And it's a really amazing thing those situations offer to people. And I think you can get so many of them in good friendships, deep friendships. Yeah. And also, to have a deep friendship, like a true friendship with somebody, you both have to come to the table honest. It's
Yeah, of course,
impossible,
Mm-hmm.
impossible to have a true friendship with somebody
Mm-hmm.
where it's one-sided. That's not a true friendship.
Yeah,
You know what
true.
I mean? Like that's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, you can still be friends, but it's not like the deep
Of
level.
course, yeah.
You know, you're not gonna die for that person. I would die for you. Like
Yeah.
no doubt, easy. Don't
Yeah.
have to don't even think about it. And I know you would do the same for me. But
Mhm.
that's because we know each other and we value each
Yeah.
other. And you know, it's so funny because I want more people to have what we have and what I have
Mhm.
with other friends.
Yeah.
Because man, for me at least, it's like
Yeah.
this is like the goddamn paint. My friends are the paint
Yeah.
to the picture. You know,
Yeah.
without it, you just have a black and white picture. It can still be beautiful. It just
No.
it's way less vibrant.
Yeah.
So, I think friends are one of the best things in life. So go get some, you losers.
What do you think? I mean, we've talked about this so many times, just between us. But you know, we kind of hit it off quickly, and then became good friends quickly,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though we kind of started a workplace,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think I attribute it to the fact that we have some common things
Mm-hmm.
of our own struggles or kind of devastated part of you. Like we share those things.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Especially something that has to do with mother figure, right? I think that's why kind of we, understood each other on a deeper level, because there was this fundamental issue related to mother or lack of mother, growing up.
Yeah.
I think that's why we could understand each other better and on a deeper level.
Yeah. I think so. Because I think, interestingly enough, for what you lack as you're going through life,
Yeah.
you try to compensate somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like you just do.
Yeah. That's
I think
very natural reaction.
Yeah, and I think you and I compensated in very similar ways. I mean, we were always never happy with the answer we've ever been given in life. You and I have never been satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Not to say we were unhappy people, but it was always like trying new things, exploring new things. That applied to like the philosophical ideas.
Yeah.
And then also the extreme. We feel extremely responsible for our own lives.
Yeah.
Almost, I would say in some ways it's been detrimentally so, unhealthily so, where you feel like everything you get from life is your responsibility and having that pressure applied to yourself unhealthily.
Yeah.
So I think we
Sure.
both connected on that. Like obviously these are things we didn't have the language to discuss what we're discussing now. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way we didn't have the relationship, but being able to look back, it's so easy to see, oh yeah, fucking yeah, that makes total sense. Shared like tragedies, and then also what we want out of life, like the answer. Like when you mentioned, I think it was back on episode 8, where you went to the library and you found the book on the philosophy or
Epistemology.
but philosophy, the study of words basically and meanings, concepts, things like that. And I had that too as a kid. We both had the religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
And all these things that, if you just looked at us in those work environments as individuals, you would say there's no way those two have anything in common.
Yeah.
So
On the surface.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, though, I mean, because we were willing to be authentic in those environments, in the sense of, we wanted to kick ass and do the right thing at work. But the enthusiasm and that authenticity, we're going to be that no matter what, if people liked us or not. And we were unliked by people, certain people, you know what I mean? Because we were putting the pressure and highlighting like, yo, they don't do shit. We're solving it. Not like we went, hey, we're crying, complaining to people. We just got the job done and defended ourselves because it made other people look bad because we raised the bar.
Yeah.
Never looks good for the other people. But if you weren't willing to be authentic, at least in that regard, and honest with yourself and be who you were, I wouldn't be able to see you. And you wouldn't have seen me if I wasn't that.
Yeah.
And we'd never had this friendship or relationship. See, the only person you rob by being inauthentic and not being your true self is fucking yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you rob yourself of
Yeah.
so much. And that's hard, man. I mean, that's hard. Because
Yeah.
even all the difficulties we've had then with our jobs, our lives, you know, things we all have, those problems look so insignificant now. Like, even the problems we currently are facing,
Yeah.
they're just, I don't even know if I'd call them problems. They're just things along the path now. I don't even think of it as like, well, this is a fucking problem, you know, headache. It's just, all right, well, yeah, I mean, we're crossing a mountain where you're expecting there not to be fucking elevation gain. And like, what are you talking about, man? Like, really, you were expecting this to be simple? We're like going to hike the rest of our lives, you know, metaphorically speaking, of course. So, but I think we both saw in each other the willingness, like, I'm not done until I'm done.
Yeah.
I say I'm done, then I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, that ability to not quit, not accepting it.
Yeah, that has like two faces, right? I mean, one could, I think it could be a very positive thing, but also it could be, you know, a very negative thing, you know, like a negative thing in that, like, that kind of characteristic made us growing up very hard on ourselves, you know, having very high standards for ourselves, you know, no failure as a man, you know, things like that. But that's what made us who we are, you know, and we're changing. I mean, we're growing, right?
Dude,
and
at a rapid pace, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily become a better person, but at least we've come to a better understanding of ourselves, you know, and then being able to look back, okay, that's why it happened, and then that's what I, you know, got from it, you know, and things like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the events that took place to, you know, in our lives are necessarily bad things, you know. It just made us who we are today, and I like it. I like it, you know. I think that's why, you know, on my first mushroom trip, I cried a lot. I remember, I could very be empathetic for myself, but also at the time I saw a lot of struggles in my past, but also there was the moment that I felt like now I can move on, you know. Yeah. Let's just put it behind.
Dude, I mean, I think that's the beautiful thing about when you finally reach a place where you can at least understand conceptually the things that have happened to you. You just see it as experience, right? And you've learned from it. You can learn from it. You can change. It's like, just like you said, we're not better people. I think just more capable. I understand now how to react to situations, how not to react. It's not like there's necessarily like, it's weird. There's not like a level of enlightenment, even though there is.
There
just
is.
Like there's like a deeper understanding, but it doesn't change like the base material we're playing with. You know, I just know how to arrange the blocks in a more effective way.
Yeah.
You know, instead of trying to have the blocks arranged in the way that I was told this is how you arrange it. You know, for a small example, wasn't something I struggled with, but you know, we're told, hey, if somebody insults you, you're supposed to feel angry, feel rage, feel mad. What? Why would I don't know? They don't know me. Why would I feel that way now? You know what I mean? Or for me, like in romantic love, now it's like, we used to get bummed out about that, like, oh, you know, whatever the case is. Now I'm just like, if I'm bummed out, I'm not bummed out because of that person and not working out with them. I'm bummed out that you know, that situation just didn't work out. You know, it's no fault of their own. They're on their own journey, their own experience. I'm on mine. Like, yeah, we didn't line up in an ideal way, but everything that's ever been great and valuable to me in life, like truly, has been, this is going to be a shock to people, but has been almost nothing I've ever worked for. The most valuable things in my life I've almost never worked for, you know, outside of climbing.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you that if fucking chose to fall in love with climbing.
Yeah.
It unexpectedly happened. You know, I had no say in the matter. I just feel fucking driven to it. Like I have to. Just like every romantic relationship and love partner I've had is like, I felt called to it. It wasn't anything I did. You know what I mean? Like I'm not here to praise myself. It just so happened to be. Actually, the things that I've worked hardest for have been some of the most difficult, like destroying things.
Yeah.
You know, working in an industry, maintaining a persona that's totally not you, because you just want to keep with the status quo. Like you want to excel in that place. Like we talked about on episode 8. You know, we fit ourselves in these boxes to make us look good because we know like this is what it is to be kick-ass. You know, solve the problems. Like no nonsense, fucking no friendships in those environments for the most part. So fucking not worth it. Not worth it. And now I see that. Now I'm clearly like removed from it. That the last thing I'd want to do is go back to it. And that's the great thing about having a friend is that they can be like, yo, hey, this what you're doing doesn't line with your values or who you say you want to be. So think about it a little more. You know, is that really what you want to do?
Yeah.
I think that it can make all the difference in your life. Save you years.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we're approaching the hour mark now.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really, you know, we don't have a limit, but I think this is about it.
Yeah. I mean, you're fucking dying from food.
I'm so
dehydration.
hungry. I just can't think.
Yeah. I mean, we got a few more things we need to take care of before we leave Thailand anyway,
Yeah.
today specifically. So
Yeah.
we got
A
to
lot
call
of
it.
things to take care of. But yeah, I guess
Okay.
it's good to wrap up. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys back in the fucking US of A.
Thank you guys. Bye.